I'm Tom, and British boxing is absolutely stacked right now. It is packed with talent, with stars, and with prospects. It's in a really good place right now. I don't think that's really up for debate. Certainly not in my eyes. I think, at the very least, it's in a very good place right now. So let's talk about 5 fights that I'd like to see before the end of 2025. Now, these will be in no particular order. I don't necessarily want to see one of these more than the others. It's just my top 5 in no particular order, and I'll throw in some honorable mentions. So let's start with Frazer Clarke versus Solomon Dakers. This is a fight where they're both 9-1. You know, both of them are 9-1 right now. Both of them coming off an area where they puts them not quite top British level, but certainly in and around that British level scene. Look, Fabio Wardley, who beat Frazer Clarke, onto bigger and better things. Was it Adelaide who just beat Solomon Dakers? He seems to be tied up as well. Get them against each other, and this is kind of a high pressure fight then, a high stakes fight. Solomon Dakers, Frazer Clarke, heavyweight dust up. Frazer Clarke coming off a win where he looked really good after coming off of a very heavy loss. Solomon Dakers coming off a loss, you know, I'm in an R. Let's get them in against each other, pit them up against each other, heavyweight fight, decent names. It will show us where the British heavyweight scene is at. You know, a domestic level dust up. It's not world level where you've got Fury, AJ, when you know what would have been Fury, AJ, 2 British, domestic fight at the top level. It's not that. This is the domestic scene, but I don't mind it at all. I actually really like it. You know, the winner is back up, top of the British boxing scene. Big stakes. Then Ben Whittaker versus Joshua Buatsi. This is one I've been sort of thinking about. Look, Ben Whittaker probably isn't at that stage yet, but he, by his own admission, you know, is head honcho. That's what he says. Joshua Buatsi come off that loss to Callum Smith. Now, look, that performance, fantastic. And there's no denying that Joshua Buatsi's got heart. He was getting cracked with some shots that I really thought he was going to go down with, but he just wasn't. He kept on going. And Callum Smith clearly has a lot left to give. But the fact of the matter is, Joshua Buatsi is coming off of quite a big loss. Then on the flip side, Ben Whittaker coming off the back of a very big win. It was a very important win and a win that he did get. And that's not something that you want to gloss over. He got that win and he did look good in it. He looked very good in it. You know, clearing them out very quickly. But how will he stand when he steps up the levels quite a bit to somebody like a Joshua Buatsi? Again, domestic, light heavyweight, styles. Joshua Buatsi, that come forward, that brawler kind of, I'm going to fight. I'm going to give it my all. The heart and the ego and the showboaty style of Ben Whittaker. How do they marry? How do they mix? Let's see how they get on. Now that Ben Whittaker's found his camp and he keeps training hard. Let's see how that goes. Another one, I'm thinking, you know, Adam Azim, Dalton Smith. 2 of the best in the country. Both want to be, you know, but both of these fighters, Adam Azim, Dalton Smith, they're both looking for a breakout fight. And I think this could be it. The winner of this will be a breakout fight. And the reason why I think that is because I think this fight, Adam Azim versus Dalton Smith, could potentially be a fight of the year candidate. I mean that, I really do. And the winner does break out. They're on the scene then, aren't they? The winner's on the scene, fight of the year candidate, a breakout fight for the winner. I think there's a fair bit to be said about that. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, kind of announce yourself on the British scene then. Moving on from that, we'll go Itauma versus Wardley. I would love to see this. The one thing we haven't seen from Itauma is him get cracked. Now, look, we're seeing him fight Dillian Whyte, but I don't expect Dillian Whyte to provide many troubles for someone like Itauma. I think Itauma's just too fast. I think he'll be able to get him out of there pretty quick. I don't expect him to get cracked with Dillian Whyte. And if he does, fair enough. But the one thing we haven't seen from Itauma yet is how he reacts when he gets cracked with a really good shot. How does he react? And I think Wardley would provide that. We saw it against Honey. Wardley could be losing every round of the fight, crack you with that shot, and it's over. And how does Itauma respond when he gets cracked with that shot? It's a question I really want to know. Now, there's no guarantee Wardley will provide that either. We saw what Justice Honey was able to do to Wardley. And I tell you now, if that's Itauma cracking you with those shots that Honey was, good night. good night, because the time was putting you to sleep, and we won't see a timer tested because Wardley wouldn't get the chance to crack him with one. But I think Wardley would have learned a lot from that fight. I think Wardley would have learned a lot from that fight. And if Wardley's learned a lot from that fight, how does the timer respond when Wardley cracks him with one? But also, more on that, they're both in the same gym. You can't have two world level prospects, both world title holder hopefuls from the same gym. They're on a collision course. One of them needs to leave the stable. You know what I mean? One of them needs to leave town. And the loser leaves town. It's difficult. I don't think we'll see it because they are in the same gym. So how are you going to do that? But winner stays at the gym. Do you know what I mean? You can't have two prospects at this level. There's a conflict of interest there. It's bad enough that they're the same promotion and the same gym. This is what's going to create, perhaps then, Itama gets a WBO. Oh, sorry, he's not WBO, is he? He's not actually a mandatory. What am I talking about? I don't think. But anyway, if Wardley, let's just say Itama gets WBO, Wardley gets WBA. You got two title fighters, same gym, same promote. They're not going to fight each other, and you're stuck in a stalemate where no one wants to unify the division. No one wants to see that. Get it on, get them fighting. Itama versus Wardley. I really like that gym. An honourable mention. Trying to think. Obviously AJ Fury. You've got Eubank versus Ben 2. Kind of the ones that aren't really realistic. I think these are somewhat realistic at least. Finally, Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora 3. I think this is the only real fight for Derek Chisora. And look, after Dillian Whyte gets knocked out by Moses Itama, it's time he bids farewell as well. We're not going to see AJ versus Whyte. I don't want to see AJ versus Whyte. 2, it's reality of it is Whyte gets knocked out by Moses Itama. It's time he bids farewell. It's time Chisora bids farewell. He's got one fight left as well. So I think we get that fight done. Whyte loses. Chisora versus Whyte 3. Sell out the O2. Do it there. Put on a show. Both fighters brawling, bringing war. End your careers on a high. That's what I think we should see to end the year. People, what do you want to see? What fights would you like to see in British boxing? Not boxing, in British boxing. Let me know in the comment section down below. These are just a few ideas I had. Obviously, there's a few others. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. You know how all this stuff works, people. Peace.